Hello friends and my dear students, I welcome you all to my channel. This is class 2 of the on the chapter Algebraic Expressions. This is not in this class I will not discuss anything new, but if you have watched the first class on the Algebraic Expressions, that is class number 1, there I explained and discussed the very basics of algebraic expressions like factors, terms, coefficients, and algebraic expressions. So those basic concepts over there, I would like to discuss again the factors of a term, which after reading the books, I thought that I need to explain it once again, because after reading the books again, I found that the factors of a term means a little different. So also along with that, I will also discuss what is a numerical coefficient of a term and a literal coefficient of a term. So let's get started. Okay, so let me first clarify about the factors of a term. So given a term, what are its factors? So in the previous video, in the class number 1, I said that if we have a term, let's say, if we have a term, let's say minus 4x square y, then the factors will be the numerical factor, that is the constant part, that is minus 4 x square y. As per the video in the previous class, I said that xy will also be a factor, also x square y as well as minus x minus y minus x square y and minus xy. But the definition of factors of a term is a bit different, given in different books. So it's really hard to understand what exactly the factors of a term means. I mean, the terms of an algebraic expression, that is fine. That is, there is no doubt or confusion in that. But the factors of a term is where I have seen that the definitions are different in various books. But anyway, in my understanding, finally, I finally understood that this is wrong. This is wrong. So the correct factors of this term minus 4x square y is the numerical part, that is the constant part, minus 4, and you consider all the literal factors. Now, if there are where, so the factors of this term will be minus 4 x square and y and nothing else. These are the factors of the term minus 4 x square. So as you can understand that even though this is what does this mean? This means minus 4 multiplied by x multiplied by x multiplied by x, but we do not consider x as a factor of 4x square of this term, or y, or even x square y, or even xy. So the factors of this term minus 4x square y is the constant part, that is minus 4, and all the separate literals, and if there are multiple occurrences of literals in the product, in the term, then we combine all the multiple occurrences of a literal as an exponential. So we have over here, even though it's actually minus 4 into x into y, we combine all the same literals, we merge all the x literals as exponential, so it becomes x square and the y remains y. So, and then we consider the separate literals with either with exponential or either with some powers, or if they have no powers, that is the power is 1, those as the factors. Let's take another example. Let's say minus half z cube x y square. Now this term will have the factors as minus half, that is the constant part, z cube x and y square. Let's take another example. Minus 5 x square y square by z. So over here the factors are minus 5 x square y square and 1 by z. Now among the factors of a term, among the factors of a term, there will be only one numerical factors. So this is the numerical factors. This is the numerical factor. This for the term minus 4 x square y, minus 4 is the numerical factor. It's a factor. Why it's called numerical factor? Because the factor's value is constant. So it's called numerical factor. So for the second term, the numerical factor is minus half, and for the third term, the numerical factor is minus 5. Let's take another example. Let's say minus x y z. For this term, the numerical factor is minus 1 and the other factors are x, y and z. So the boxed ones are the numerical factors, and all other factors are literal factors. These. So x square and y are the literal factors of the term minus 4 x square y. In the second term, z cube x and y square, they are the literal factors. Similarly, for the third term, x square is a literal factor, y square is a literal factor, and 1 by z is a literal factor. Similarly, for the last term, minus x by z, x is a literal term, y is a literal term, and z is a literal factor. These are the literal factors. So I hope it's now clear what are the factors of a term, and among those factors which is the numerical factor and which are the literal factors. Now another two concept of a term is numerical coefficient, or it is called coefficient, and literal coefficient. For this term, for the first term, numerical coefficient, I'm in short writing NC. Numerical coefficient is the numerical factor. So every term will have only one numerical factors and one or more literal factors. So the numerical factor of a term is known as its numerical coefficient or coefficient. So for the first term, the numerical coefficient or the coefficient of the term is minus 4. And what is the literal coefficient of the first term? Everything excluding the numerical coefficient is the literal coefficient of the term, meaning x's literal coefficient, I am in short writing LC. LC is for the first term x square y, because the numerical coefficient is minus 4. So if you ignore minus 4 from the term, the remaining part is x square y. So the literal coefficient of the term is x square y for the first term. Similarly, for the second term, the numerical coefficient is also known as coefficient. So numerical coefficient and coefficient of a term are the same thing. So the numerical coefficient for the second term is minus half, and the literal coefficient of the second term is z cube x y square. Similarly, for the third term, the numerical coefficient is minus 5 and the literal coefficient is x square y square by z. Similarly, for the last term, numerical coefficient is minus 1 and the literal coefficient is xyz. Now let's try with some more terms and see what are their factors and what is the numerical coefficient of the term and what is the literal coefficient of the term. Just few more examples so that it is clear. So let's say minus 4 x square, this is the first term. Let's say y square z x is another term. Let's say minus 1 by 4, let's say this is z square x by 4 y cube, and the last one, let's say we have minus x cube y square divided by z cube. So for this term, let's try to understand what are their factors and what is the numerical coefficient of the term and the literal coefficient of the terms. So the first term, minus 4x square, the factors are minus 4 and x square. The what is numerical coefficient? Numerical coefficient is the numerical factor of the term, and there is only one numerical factor of any term. So this is minus 4. What is literal coefficient? Everything in the term except the numerical coefficient. So literal coefficient in a term is everything except the numerical coefficient. So if you exclude the minus 4 from the term, we are left with x square. So this is the literal coefficient. Now for the second term, the factors are remember the factors are y square z x and also 1, because one is understood because if there is no constant, if there is no specific constant like any specific constant like minus 1 or specific value in a term, then plus 1 is assumed to be its numerical factor, and if the term has no specific constant and it's a negative term, like let's say minus xy, then we take minus 1 as the numerical factor. So over here, even though you do not see any constant as you see in the first one or the third one, so we assume 1 as the numerical factor. So the factors of the second term are 1 y square z and x. So what is the numerical coefficient? Numerical coefficient is a numerical factor, that is 1. And what is the literal coefficient? Literal coefficient is everything except the 1, but 1 is understood. So the literal coefficient is y square z x. For the third one, it is z square x divided by 4y cube. So the factors are, the constant part is 1 by 4 and the other factors are x, z square and 1 by y cube. So the numerical coefficient is 1 by 4 and the literal coefficient is everything in the term except the 1 by 4. So which is z square x by y cube. Okay, for the last term, we see it's a negative term, but there is no specific constant in the term. So we assume that the minus 1 will be a numerical factor and the other factors are x cube, y square and 1 by z cube. So the numerical coefficient of the term is the numerical factor, that is minus 1, and the literal coefficient of the term is everything except the minus 1, that is x cube, y square divided by z cube. So I hope now it is clear what are the factors of a term and what is a numerical factor, what is a literal factor, and what is the numerical coefficient or coefficient of a term, and what is the literal coefficient of a term. So this was a short video. I just wanted to clarify the concept of factors of a term and what is numerical coefficient and literal coefficient of a term. So thanks for watching. I hope this video was beneficial. If this video was beneficial, then please do share it with your friends, and also please consider subscribing to my channel if you are not yet subscribed. That way it will help grow my channel and motivate me to come up with this kind of videos on regular basis. So thanks for watching, and until the next video, take care and bye.